Diane in Denmark here. What you're about to see is a recap of the Flylady's 31 baby steps, taking you from day 26 to day 30. Now, back in January, I walked you through each of the 31 days from chaos to clean. I held your hand and I led you through, or perhaps dragged you through some of the days. If you didn't do those with us back in January 2017, you can do them anytime. You know, any day can be your January 1st. You can do them today, you can do them next week, but just get started with them. And if you did do them before with us, maybe you want to have a little recap. It's always good to go back and revisit the system. If there's something that maybe I didn't implement back then, but now I could see would really help me. So what you're about to see are days 26 to 30. And let me just get my pom-poms. They are never far away. Here we are. Yay! I'm still here cheerleading you all the way through. If you want to join us on Instagram, you can find me under the name, just the same name as my channel here, Diane in Denmark. Just look for hashtag Diane in Denmark. We've got a really nice community there. And what we're doing is we're just supporting each other. The great thing about Instagram is, compared to Facebook, is that it's just a visual thing. You know, you will see me shining my sink at the end of my evening routine. You will see me what I have put out for my outfit for the next day. You will see what I have decluttered or see what I'm doing on errand day. So it's just a little visual extra motivation for you, so I hope you'll join us for that. But anyway, I won't chat any longer because you need to get on it and get onto your baby step day 26. So as I say, you're going to see baby steps 26 to 30. Just listen to them while you're doing something else. You don't need to physically watch me in these videos. It's not like my cleaning videos or decluttering videos. And now it's gone out of my head. What was the other thing I was going to say? Hold on a minute. Okay, it went out of my head, it's back again. The next video that you will see in this series is going to be the final day, day 31, baby step 31, plus what to do next, because if there's something that I get asked a lot, it's what do I do once I've actually gone through the baby steps? What's the next step? That will all be explained. Don't worry, we're taking it one baby step at a time. Okay, so cue the videos. Diane in Denmark, you're about to see the videos that I made back in January, so it's pretty cold and wet and dark then. But I hope you enjoy them and keep watching. Let's roll the videos. Flylady Diane here, and welcome back to day 26 of the Flylady's 31 baby steps. So I hope you're ready. I hope you've been following along. If you have, then I'm sure you are already dressed to house shoes. Check. I've got, there we are, I've got mine on today. Today we're going to talk about something that you see at the bottom of all of Flylady's emails and the website. It will say, jump in where you are. And I just want to talk about that for a little minute. What does jump in where you are mean? That means that with this whole Flylady system, it doesn't matter what you aren't doing, or if you've fallen off the wagon, as some people say, or maybe you've been a fly baby for years and years, but you just can't. Don't worry about everything that's gone before. We're concentrating on right here and right now. So what we want you to do is just jump in, just do what you can. If you've been following along on these 26 days of baby steps, hopefully you've been following along all the little steps. You've made your control journal, you're checking off your morning routine, your evening routine. But as I said yesterday, if you miss something, don't worry about it. If you miss one day, that's all right. Try not to miss 2 days in a row, because then we start getting into our old pattern again. But just jump in where you are. If you have missed the morning routine for today, don't worry, just jump in with the afternoon routine, with the evening routine. Don't worry about it, just do what you can, and you will see that at the bottom of all of Flylady's messages to you. Jump in where you are. We do not want you to feel that you are behind or that you're not doing things properly. Just do what you can, because anything, as I said before, anything's better than nothing. And also for today, 26, I just wanted to talk a little about, here we are, yeah, day 26, I just need to keep checking because I've been doing so many days. I wanted to give you a couple of tips about these morning, afternoon and evening routines. I'm a mentor at Flylady Premium, but I'm just the same as everybody. I'm a fly baby. That's all the mentors who are at Flylady Premium. We are all fly babies. We're still fly babies. I'm still the same person I was before, but I just know how to deal with the things that trip me up. So I don't get tripped up every day. And with the ladies that I mentor, a few things have become apparent. If you are working outside the home, you know, if you're working away from home, leaving the house every day to go to work, what I really hope you will concentrate on and do as soon as you come home is the evening routine. Because, you know, the routines, morning routine, afternoon, before bed routines, they're all equally important. But if you're working outside the home, it's really important that as soon as you come through the door, you start that routine and you get it done as quickly as possible. Focus on that, because that way it will allow you to have that me time that you desperately need and deserve before you go to bed. Now, if you are running a business from your own home, if you're at home with the kids, if you're a stay-at-home mum, if you're a pensioner, whatever, if you are at home for most of the day, your best bet is to put all your energy into making sure your morning routine, your morning routine gets done. And why do I say that? Because when we have all day to do something, you know how it works. If you have all day to do it, it'll take all day to do it. If we have all day to clean, we will use the whole day to clean. If we know that there's somebody coming round at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we will be finished the cleaning before they arrive at 1 o'clock. Or in an ideal world, we would be finished cleaning. But what I'm trying to say to you is, if you are at home, working from home, at home most of the day, make sure you get your morning routine done. That's your focus, the morning routine. Get it done as soon as your feet hit the floor, because that way it's going to free up the rest of the day to get on with work or playing with the kids, and giving you me time during the day, because probably later on in the day, you know, the kids have got bath time, bedtime, you know, stressful time again. So that's my little tip to you. All the routines are important. Do what you can, but if you're working outside the home, really put your energy into doing the evening routine, because in the morning, you know, you have to be out the door. You are up, you're dressed to shoes, so that's not going to be so much of an issue for you. Whereas if you are at home, sometimes we have the tendency, oh, well, you know, I don't need to get dressed to shoes right now because I'm not going out. So that's my little tip for the day. Also, if you're still feeling overwhelmed with things, that is perfectly normal. As I said to you, I'm a fly baby like everybody else. As I've already mentioned, I'm an introvert, I'm anxious about things, I overthink things. When I get up in the morning, between the time I leave my bedroom and get to the bathroom door, I can have 150 worries and ideas and things storming around in my head. But I know, I've learnt this from Flylady, that I just go through my morning routine, I focus on that. I don't start going on the computer and Googling things and trying to solve problems. I go through my morning routine, you know, get my coffee, dress to shoes, and I can bet you once I'm finished that morning routine, my world has just become more manageable again. Because what we really want you to do with these routines is we want to get you focusing on them and getting them done as fast as possible. But in the process, we're actually slowing down. we're not having all that chaos going on in our heads, because we have enough chaos to begin with, you know, chaos with the clutter, chaos with what's going around us. So by doing these routines, it's going to help us to slow down and to be able to take things more calmly. So that's what we want for you. So today, just remember, jump in where you are. If you haven't started any of your routines for today, jump in where you are. You're not behind. And let us know how you're getting on. Have these baby step videos, have they been helpful? Is there anything that you're still not understanding? And please, please don't worry about all the other things that you've read about on the Flylady website or on the Flylady Facebook page about, you know, zones and weekly cleaning and, you know, the focus for the day. We'll get there. All we want you to do right now is just build those routines slowly, keep working on the clutter, and you know what, it will all be okay. Everything will fall into place. Believe me, been there, done that, got the t-shirt and got the, well, not the Flylady mug, but I've got all the Flylady stuff. Anyway, I'll wrap it up there. Flylady Diane signing off from slightly sunny Copenhagen. We'll be back with you tomorrow for a new baby step. And that's basically it. So live long and prosper. See you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Flylady Diane here. Welcome back to day 27 of the Flylady's 31 baby steps. If you are just finding these videos, please, you're not behind, but we are baby stepping and we're adding a new step to our Flylady system every day. So just go and start in day one. It's at the bottom of this playlist. So you're not behind, but we start off with shining the sink, dressing to indoor shoes, and everybody else who's been with us for the 27 days, I hope you are watching this with your house shoes on. I've got my black ones on today. And today we are adding in a new step. I talked a little about this before. I think it was when I was talking about the afternoon routine. Today is the day that we start menu planning, and please don't run off, and I'm going to give you some tips. But first of all, when I say menu planning, I don't want you to do this, okay? I don't want you to grab all your cookery books and start. We're not doing that. We are not going on to Pinterest, looking up recipes, because you know what will happen unless you set your timer. If you go into Pinterest, you think you're going on for 15, 16 minutes. You say, I'll just go in there for a quarter of an hour. And 2 hours later, you're still on Pinterest, you're looking at all these recipes, you don't have the ingredients in the house, and you haven't even thought about what is for dinner right here, right now. So we're not doing that. We're not getting out all our cookery books. We are menu planning, and we're doing it in baby steps. Like with everything else, we're doing it in baby steps. We just want the middle ground. We're not going from not menu planning at all to menu planning for a whole month. That's not what we're about. We're doing things in manageable chunks. So we don't need these. All you're going to need is a piece of paper. You know, keep some extra paper in your control journal. And just once a week or once every couple of days in these early steps for you, just note down, you know, with your family and say, okay, you know, if you've got like 2 kids, ask the kids, what are your favourite meals? Ask your significant other, what is your favourite meal? You know, what is your favourite meal? What is your standby meal? Just write down a few ideas on paper. Think about, what do you have in the freezer? Do you have lots of minced beef? That's what or ground beef as they call it in the States. What do you have sitting in that freezer that you can use the next couple of days? Menu planning is going to save you so much time and stress, because there's nothing worse than, you know, you're going through your day and then suddenly, before you know it, it's 5 o'clock and you have no idea what's for dinner. And when we wait that late in the day, we feel the stress building. And the easiest thing for us to do, we think, is, oh, now we're going to get some takeaway, takeout, or go out and eat. that's an awful lot of money being wasted. We maybe don't eat well when we eat takeaway. So from now on, and I'm not saying we're never going to have takeaway again, we're going to get to that in a minute, but right now we're just going to plan a few days ahead. And remember, you're going to look in your calendar and say, what is coming up? Are we going out for dinner? Are we going to a wedding? Are the kids going off on a day trip with school? Are they going to need a special packed lunch? Are the kids going to karate? Do you have church night? Just plan ahead, because on certain days you will know that it's going to be a busy night, running backwards and forwards to activities. So go ahead and do something easy. Soup and sandwiches, or make it that night that you actually do get a takeaway, some takeout. Now, you don't need to have the Flylady calendar. Please don't say, I can't menu plan until I go and buy the Flylady's calendar. It's great if you want to buy the Flylady's calendar, but you don't need it to menu plan. But a good thing, if you just use any calendar that you've got. I mean, this is my daughter's calendar. It's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. If you've got space, if you don't have a large amount of space on your calendar, just use, if you don't want to write it in, if you can't write it in what's for dinner every day, just take some sticky notes. And look, here we've got spaghetti bolognese, which is the European term for spaghetti with meat sauce. And, by writing these down, and then we've got soup and sandwiches, Taco Tuesday. I mean, you know what your family likes. And also takeaway, takeout, or going to a restaurant. Make sure that you don't go from one extreme to the other, okay? When you're planning these menus, don't say that, I've said it before, we go from one thing to the other. We don't menu plan at all, and we eat out a lot, or we eat a lot of takeaway, takeout. And then we go to the other extreme, thinking that we have to make a gourmet meal with 3 courses. We have to bake the bread ourselves. It doesn't have to be like that. We're starting out small, and we're just going slow and steady with this menu plan, okay? So as I said, just, write it on a piece of paper, write it in the calendar, put sticky notes in the calendar. The good thing about the sticky notes, if you do it that way, every time you make dinner, just write it down, on a sticky note, write it down and stick it on the calendar. That way, in 2 weeks' time, if you just do this every day, within a couple of weeks, you'll begin to see a pattern of what your family likes to eat, but also you can just move these forward, and then you've already menu planned without having, with no effort whatsoever. And it's when we get, a bit of a handle on things, and we're more relaxed and we know what's for dinner, then that's going to give you the time in your daily schedule to actually look at those menus, look at those cookbooks that you enjoy reading, go onto Pinterest and maybe find something new that you can add into your, you've probably got 10 to 12 stock recipes, stock dishes that you make again and again. I'm the same. I have the same dishes that, we like to eat again and again. Depends on the weather, whether it's summer or winter. But then once you have this under your belt of menu planning, then you can take like one night a week and say, you know what, I'm going to try making something new. And you're actually not going to be stressed, and you're going to plan ahead, and you'll look in the recipe book, you'll check to see if you have the ingredients, and you'll add them to your errand list. All right, so the next time you actually go to the supermarket or the grocery store, you'll remember to buy it. Okay, so I hope I'm not being too bossy today, but we want to get away from this all or nothing. Okay, so all you're going to do for menu planning the next couple of days, look at the calendar. What are we doing the next few days? Also check the weather. If it's really bad weather where you are right now, maybe you need to stock up on milk, bread, coffee, toilet roll. Make sure you've always got plenty of toilet roll. Write it down on your list. And if whatever way you come up with menu planning, you know, you're either using a calendar or you write it down on a piece of paper. If you write it down on a piece of paper, go ahead and keep it in your control journal. Because when we get a bit further with the Flylady system, we're going to have a different day. Sorry, let's start again. Every day has a purpose. So we will actually have one day a week where we sit down with our timer. Oh, where's my timer gone? There's my timer. Where we actually sit down for 10 to 15 minutes and we menu plan. So we will get there, but right now just write it down. It doesn't have to be on a fancy chart, or you don't need to go and get a new, you know, whiteboard or a blackboard, and it doesn't need to look like something that you've seen on Pinterest. Just write it down on a piece of paper, add the ingredients to your grocery list, and make sure that you get them the next time that you are out. Yeah, and what else was I going to say about that? Yeah, the thing is with menu planning, when we start menu planning, it really frees up a lot of our time because we know what we're going to cook. We're not fussing and thinking, oh, you know, we've got less stress. Plus, it's going to save us a lot of money because by planning ahead, we can buy, you know, food that's on offer. And if you know that you like to make lasagna, you like to make spaghetti with meat sauce, chili con carne, when you see that minced beef, ground beef is on offer, you will buy it and you can put it in your freezer and you will already know what the purposes of that is. Yeah, we're not going to just be buying things and putting it in the freezer. We need to have some kind of, oh, now I'm thinking in Danish, overblik. We need to have some kind of control and overview of the whole situation. So that is me, Flylady Diane. I'm off to plan my menus. Let us know again if these videos are helpful. Please don't feel that you're behind with menu planning. You know, just even look at what am I going to be eating tonight. Pull something out of the freezer, you know, and it doesn't have to be something that would look fantastic on Pinterest. We're just needing to feed our families. That's all we're doing. We're just feeding the families, making sure that we get our water and our food, and that is it. Okay, so let's keep it simple and try and just sit down for 10 or 15 minutes, grab a cup of coffee. If you're at work, you know, when you're sitting down for lunch with your co-workers or at break time, ask them what are they having for dinner. That's what I used to do. I love to get ideas from other people. So do what you can, hang in there with us, and I shall be back with you for day 28. Yeah, we're on day 27 today. That's it for me, Flylady Diane, signing off. See you soon. Flylady Diane here, and we are back for day 28 of the Flylady's 31 baby steps. Just think about it, we have been baby stepping from day 1. We've only got a few more days to go. I really hope that you're seeing some changes in your house and in your head. If you've been watching these videos since day 1 or the last couple of days and you haven't done anything yet, I really want you to stop and actually do something. Start your control journal. Set your timer for 5 minutes and go and do a room rescue, because as I said at the very beginning of these 31 baby steps, you can read all the Flyladies emails, you can read the Flyladies book, you can watch all these videos, you can Google the Flylady system, but nothing is going to change for you unless you do something. So please don't just watch all these things and say, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea, or that's not going to work for me. You've got to do something. And to those of us who have been doing something, remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of this system. If you just do a little bit of the system, and it doesn't even have to be perfectly done, you will still see results. And that's what we want for you. We want you just to jump in You know, I talked about that the other day, just jump in where you are. So it's day 28, there's just a few days more of these videos, but don't worry, once the 31 days have gone, I will also, you know, I've got tons of other videos on my YouTube channel, Flylady Diane, you can't avoid me, but I will be putting together for you the next steps of the program, like the weekly home blessing, the zones, it will all be explained. But right now, we are just, you know, working on our daily routines, working on our control journal, getting rid of the clutter, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at a time. Now, yesterday, I hope I didn't scare you off because we're talking about meal planning. Just what's for dinner? Do you know what's for dinner tonight? If you don't, you know, you've got to write down, you know, get a pencil, paper, you know, sticky note, whatever you've got. Write down what you need for dinner, right? Look in your fridge. Is there something in your freezer that you can get for dinner? Actually, I was on the phone to my mum in Scotland and she was frying up a lot of minced beef, ground beef. And I said, oh, Mum, I'm doing the same. I don't know if you can see, it's in my crock pot behind me. And she's on her own now. My dad died a couple of years ago and she's still kind of cooking for 2 people in her head, but she's discovered that, like me, she buys, you know, I buy a large amount of ground beef and I cook it and then I portion it into, you know, three portions for my family. So we eat one tonight, we're having spaghetti bolognese, pasta with meat sauce, or pasta med cool sauce, as we call it in Denmark. And my mum was doing the same thing. She was cooking half for mince and tatties and she was going to keep the other half and she'll add some tomatoes to it and make a kind of bolognese sauce. So there you go. All over the globe we are, oh, hello, just my daughter coming in. We're just doing what we can to menu plan, and it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And remember I said to you yesterday, if you take your calendar and you just add sticky notes, whatever you're having for dinner the next week, just take a sticky note, add it to the calendar or add it to your control journal, and that way we're menu planning without even thinking about it. All right, so that's it for a recap of what we did yesterday. Today we're also kind of talking about the same thing, because when we are fly babies, we tend to look after everybody else and help everybody else out. Does that sound familiar? But we don't look after ourselves. So today on day 28, it's just a reminder for you to get enough hydration, enough water. Now you can do it anywhere, any way you like. Let me see, you know, and you know, I've got some of the Flylady's water bottles. You don't need to order Flylady water bottles. I mean, you know, if you want to order them, that's fine, but do not wait until you get Flylady water bottles to start drinking water. You know, use whatever water bottles you've got, drink from the tap. Also, can you see here at the tap, I always leave a glass beside the tap, because that way if I'm passing by during the day, I just take a glass of water and I go on. You know, the Flylady herself, she has the system which is really clever, that she takes her water bottle and she puts some elastic bands around it. So that way she remembers, like once she's drunk the contents of one bottle, she takes it off and then she can fill up the bottle again and take the next one off. And it's just a reminder for her to keep track of how much she's drinking. Now, please don't start writing in the comments that you don't like cold water, you don't like hot water, you want fizzy water. I'm not your mother, all right? It's just a reminder. You're a grown-up woman or man, hopefully, watching this. You know to be sensible and you know that we need to drink water. Yeah, drinking coffee and tea and soda is not enough. So try and just add in some extra water. If you're already drinking, you know, your 8 glasses a day or whatever it is, good for you. And if you're not drinking enough water and you tend to forget about it, because, you know, when the kids were small, I would forget just to stop and give myself a glass of water. and yet I was always reminding them to get their water and eat. Funny that, isn't it, that we can always tell the kids to do it, but we never actually do it ourselves. If you're not getting enough water, make sure to write it down on a piece of paper, put up a sticky note, and also add it to your control journal. Yeah, just take a sticky note, add it in there as part of your routine so that you see it in the morning when you're checking off your morning routine. It says drink water. Also, I added a sticky note yesterday that says what's for dinner. So with all these little baby steps, remember to add them to your control journal, because the control journal is where we can check things off so we're not missing anything. All right? Because as I've said many times before, we can't remember all these things, and it will take a while before it just becomes an ingrained habit. So right now, if you haven't had any water today, the next thing you're going to do, take a glass of water. The Flylady, she also has this funny little trick. If she's working at home all day, every time she goes to the toilet, the bathroom, when she's finished, she drinks a glass of water. And then that will make her go back into the bathroom, and then she thinks, drink a glass of water, and so it goes. And also, we're on day 28. We've added actually quite a few things in the last few days. We added in a load of laundry a day. If you've got a big household, you need to be doing a load a day. At least you may need to be doing 2 loads a day. If you've got a small household, you maybe only need to do a load every other day. Do you need to go and reboot your laundry right now? Did you actually write down a sticky note, or did you put it into your control journal, load of laundry? So keep that control journal going, and make sure that you keep going with keeping the sink shiny. Are you dressed to shoes? Because I've got my shoes, my indoor shoes on today. And I think that's it. So don't worry if you are not doing all these steps perfectly. Just do something. And if you haven't done anything but watch these videos, now is the time. All right, you've got to stand up and do something, okay? Because otherwise I'm not going to talk to you anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But you really have to make 2 minutes of effort and get going. And I know it's really tough to get going, but once you actually start, then we've got the momentum. And the difficulty for us is starting. But I am showing you where to start. That's what I've been doing these last 28 days. I've been holding your hand and I've been showing you what to do. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. That was day 28. Make sure to get enough water. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, because it's one of my favourite things, a new step that we're going to add. So that's it from me, Flylady Diane. I hope you have a really nice dinner tonight. I don't know what you're having. As I said to you, we're having pesto macoul sauce, which is spaghetti bolognese. And that's it. If you have any comments about these videos, I really hope they're helping you. If they're not helping you, write in the comments and tell me why not. Why are they not helping you? Okay, so Flylady Diane signing off from wonderful, has been sunny Copenhagen. Live long and prosper, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Flylady Diane here. Welcome back to day 29 of the Flylady's 31 baby steps. If you have just found the videos, you can go back and start with day 1. We add a little baby step each day, which brings us great results, where we're going to be clearing our homes of the clutter and clearing our heads of the chaos. But for those of you who have been following along for 29 days, incredible. I hope you've seen big changes. Today we're going to add a new step. Now, I've mentioned it a bit before, and I know when you hear this step, you're going to say to yourself, why do I need to do this? Anyway, but let me just get straight to it. The birds are cheeping away in the background today, so sorry about that. But this video is not perfect. We just got to get it done. Today we are adding 15 minutes of pampering to our daily routines. And you're going to say to me, I don't have time. You got to listen up here. We are so busy looking after everybody else. And I mentioned this yesterday on the water thing. We've got to remember to eat. We've got to remember to drink. And we need pamper time. Pamper time, me time, self-care time, call it what you like, but make sure you're getting 15 minutes a day. It's going to recharge your batteries. It's going to make you less grumpy. We've got to slow down sometimes because we've got so much going on. And I'm going to give you a few tips here because a lot of you have probably not pampered for years and years. You know, you're career women, or you know, you've got small kids and everything else is going on. Now is the time to take time for you. You've got to look after yourself. So here are a few tips. First of all, on the Flylady's website, you can go on there and find out what the weekly pamper is. That's really useful if you're not in the habit of pampering and you need some guidance. You know, you need somebody to tell you what to do, just like we're doing with these baby steps. So you can go and look there, and the weekly pamper mission will be something like, you know, getting out some moisturizer, moisturizing your skin, sitting down with a cup of coffee. Anyway, you get the gist. So you can look on flylady.net for the pamper ideas. I'm going to show you what I have. It's a really good idea if you can get like a little basket or a box, a tote bag, whatever you have, and fill it with a few things that you can choose between when you're having 15 minutes of me time. Now I'll show you what I've got in my basket here. And remember, like everything, it's a really good idea to set your timer, because we can go overboard with sitting down and pampering ourselves the same way as we can go overboard with doing too much cleaning or spending too much time on the daily mission. So set your timer for 15 minutes, and you know, as it says on the Flylady timer here, and remember, you don't need the Flylady timer to do pampering, just set the timer on your phone. It says you can do anything for 15 minutes, and that includes looking after you and taking pamper time. So I'll show you what's in my basket. You know, you've got some fluffy slippers, put in your fluffy slippers. You know, it's been a long time since you just took time to sit down and read. I mean, read a book, read a magazine, a glossy magazine, do a Sudoku or, you know, a crossword, something like that. Just keep a few, you know, pens and pencils in your bag or basket. Something that's really popular right now is the colouring books for grown-ups, you know, this kind of mindfulness that we're sitting down for 15 minutes and, you know, doing some colouring. You know, maybe you want to doodle. I mean, just use what you've got lying around. I'm sure, you know, I borrowed this one from the kids. They don't use that anymore. And the other thing is, you know, if you've got some nice moisturizer, or, you know, these samples that you get, you know, with magazines, or when you're buying stuff in the chemist or in the drugstore, you know, take time and just, you know, put some lotion on your hands, get out, you know, a sleep mask and close your eyes for 15 minutes. The same goes for, you know, all those gift sets that you got at Christmas. If they're still lying in the boxes, get them out the boxes and get using it. You know, put on some of your favourite eau de toilette or perfume, you know, just a little dab behind the ears. That will get you feeling nice and fresh and energised. I love to listen to music, and I'm using a meditation app. You know, it's 10 minutes of meditation every day. So I like to keep headphones in my basket. So, you know, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. Just, I'm sure you've got you know, an old basket, or, you know, a box, a bag, just so that way when it comes to have your pamper time, you can just take your basket and see what you want to do. Now, I just want to speak for 2 minutes about why pampering, which we're starting on day 29, why it's so important. As I've said 150 times in these videos since day one, you don't have to be doing the Flylady system perfectly. And you don't need to be doing all the steps all the time to see benefits. I mean, you know, as soon as you shine your sink, you start feeling the change, dressing to shoes. And oh, by the way, yes, I do have my shoes on. I'm going to try and show you without knocking over the camera. There we go. But, there we go. I didn't knock over the camera. When I started Flylady, which was 10 years ago, I was doing all the other parts of Flylady, you know, and I saw what a difference it made, shining the sink, and gradually I got control of my life, you know, and I found my mojo again. I was kind of not depressed, but I just kind of lost my spark. So all those things were really good, but I never understood the pampering thing. I thought, why do I need to do that? You know, I should be getting on with laundry and planning menus. And it wasn't until I actually, you know, caved in and I heard Marla, the Flylady's voice in my head saying, And I thought, well, she's been right about everything else. What have I got to lose? And you know what? It was then that I truly, you know, that my feet lifted off the ground and I was truly flying. And this is what we want for you. And it may sound like the last thing that you need to do because you've got clutter, you've got kids, you've got food to make, you've got laundry piling up. But if you take the time for yourself, you are going to get it back 100-fold. You are going to feel more energized, you're going to feel brighter. So I hope you will take that on board. And I remember I've told this story before in one of my other videos, but one of those aha moments, you know, when the light bulb came on, was when we had, you know, I was doing the daily missions, you know, not every day, but occasionally. And I remember it was zone 5, which is the living room. And it said, you know, well done on doing a good job this week. Next time you're at the grocery store or at the supermarket, buy yourself a little plant or a flower to put on the coffee table, you know, which we had cleared off that week. And I thought, well, you know, I mean, we have a garden here and I have plants in the garden and I'm Scottish, so I don't like spending money. But the next time I was at the grocery store, there we go, I had Marla, the Flylady's voice in my ear, saying, you deserve it, you know, buy yourself something. It doesn't need to cost a lot of money, you know, like 20 krona, you know, £2, a couple of dollars. And so I did it and I came home and I put it there. And that was just the light bulb moment for me. It's okay to do something for yourself, because as fly babies, if you've found the Flylady program, it's because you are looking after everybody else. And this is the time that I want you to really think seriously about this. Do you really want this program to work? Then I really want you to try this pampering thing. And if you don't want to call it pamper, that's fine. Call it me time, call it self-awareness, self-care, whatever you like. But make sure that you set that timer, or, you know, on your phone, wherever you have a timer, and actually sit down, sit back, and do something for you. And it doesn't have to be any of these things, you know, like I've got my basket. It can also be, you know, going out in the fresh air. It can be painting your nails. It can be messaging a friend that you haven't spoken to in a couple of years. You know, send a text, reach out to somebody. It can be playing guitar. It can be playing the violin. It can be, you know, whatever you want to do, you do it. Something that makes you feel good and keeps you off your smartphone and off the computer. Okay, just something that brings you joy. So anyway, I've been blabbing on for 10 minutes. I hope you had a cup of coffee before you sat down to watch this video. So that was it for day 25. And remember, like all these steps, add this to your control journal for your routine, either in the morning or the afternoon or in the evening. and make sure you tick it off when you do it. And please let us know, have you never pampered before and this has been a revelation to you, or are you good at pampering? Let me know in the comments, and let's just cheer each other on, okay? Because we're all in this together. That's what we're doing here with Flylady. We are covering each other and we've got each other's backs, all right? So, Flylady Diane signing off from wonderful Copenhagen. Beautiful sunny day today, so everybody's happy. And I shall see you tomorrow for day 30. We've only got 2 days to go. Okay, that's me signing out. Live long and prosper, which I can only do with this hand, and see you all tomorrow. Bye. Flylady Diane here. Welcome to day 30 of the Flylady's 31 baby steps. We've got 1 day to go tomorrow, but let's not talk about that right now. What have we been doing so far? We've been doing tons of stuff. If you're just finding these videos now, don't worry, just go to day 1, baby step your way from there, because we have been building slowly, but we've been adding to our routines every day. So it's best that you start on day 1 and just take it easy, because you don't want to do too much too fast. To those who have been following along for 30 days, that is incredible. And I'm going to show you, yes, if you haven't got your lace-up shoes on, haven't shined your sink, go and do that. My lace-up shoes are on. And for day 30, we're going to talk about something that we've already mentioned before, which was the calendar. Remember I was saying to you, we've mentioned the calendar. We check, your calendar, and remember, you don't need the Flylady products to do any of this. If you want to buy Flylady products, that's fine, but you don't need anything to get started. Just use what you have at home. So if you've got a calendar at home, use that, Anyway, we check the calendar as part of our morning routine, just to see what's coming up during the day. We started checking our calendar also as part of our evening routine, because that way we can see, are we going to a school meeting tomorrow? Does somebody need to be at the dentist? And that way we also know what kind of clothes we need for tomorrow, which is also part of our evening routine. We're getting our clothes out for tomorrow. So if you know that you are going to the doctor's, you're going to wear something appropriate. If you know that you're going out to buy, I don't know, plants from the nursery, you will, wear your welly boots. You get the idea. So we've talked about the calendar before. We also talked about using the calendar when we're talking about menu planning. Remember a couple of days ago, I'm glad I didn't manage to scare you off with menu planning, that we had this idea that you can use, you can either use the calendar and write in your dinner, just write down what you're having the next couple of weeks, and it'll very soon become apparent what you are eating and making for your family. You can also use it to plan your menus by just adding sticky notes. And then once you add your sticky notes, you can just move them, and then bam, you've got your menu plan done for another time. So we've used the calendar a couple of times before. Today on day 31, we're going to actually check the calendar and look ahead and write down, is there a birthday coming up? Are you going to a party? All these social things. Sometimes when we're living in the chaos, we kind of fall off the wagon a bit with actually keeping up with friends and family. And I know that was a problem for me. It just was kind of off my radar for a long time, and it's really important that we take a little bit of time just to keep up with that. So, use your calendar, write down all the birthdays that you can think of, anything that's coming up. You probably get lists from school with important dates, term times. Get them into your calendar, and remember, when you do these things, like set your timer for 15 minutes, grab a cup of coffee, and just grab a pen, some sticky notes, and get them put into your calendar, because from now on we're going to be checking the calendar and taking some action, so that when you see a birthday coming up, you're going to see that, and you're going to write down on your list for errand day. You're going to write down, buy a birthday card, send a birthday card, buy a present, whatever it is. Okay, so from now on, we're going to be also getting organised in our lives. So far we've been talking about getting rid of the clutter, building ourselves up. You know, we've been adding in drinking water, eating food, taking breaks, and I really hope you took on board my message yesterday, which was all about pampering. Also, set your timer and pamper or take 15 minutes for self-care every day. If you saw my video yesterday and said, no, that doesn't apply to me, please go back and look at it and do it. Because I know from all the ladies and gents who have tried it, it really does work. And it's one of the easiest steps in the Flylady program to skip, but it's going to give you big results. So that was our video yesterday about pampering. As I said, if you didn't watch it, or if you didn't really think it was going to work, go back and have a look at that. Please do that. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. You are going to be using your calendar. Go and write down all the birthdays that you can think of. Pull out all the papers that you've had, you know, from the kids sent from school. You know, if they're, you know, talk to the family. Is there anything coming up that needs to go in the diary? Because as we say in our house, if it's not in the diary, it doesn't happen. All right, so we want to get things done here. So that's it for me, Flylady Diane. I'll keep it short and sweet for today. And I shall see you tomorrow for day 31, the final step in the Flylady's 31 baby steps. I hope you'll join me for that, and hurrah to everybody who has been with us since day one. That's it for me, Flylady Diane. Very dark today in Copenhagen. Let's hope tomorrow is sunshine. Okay, that's it for me. Live long and prosper, and I'll see you all for day 31 tomorrow. Bye for now.